Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I would like to ask this question. What is the most difficult part of any performance that you've given? Whether you consider a traditional performance, meaning you get in front of a live audience and you're going to do what you do, or in terms of singing or speaking or reciting poetry, whatever the case may be, or you consider a performance to be preparing to speak publicly, give a speech perhaps, or perhaps you're a keynote speaker, or you're going to speak to a group of people to lift them up in a positive way. Whatever ways in which you use your voice, the question is, what is the hardest part of any particular performance? I'll wait. Well, I would say that the hardest part of any performance, when we're using our voices especially, is when you first start. That very first word, that very first note, when you first begin, it can set you up for the rest of the performance. Maybe not the entire hour or 45 minutes or the entire set, but certainly it can set you up in a positive way or maybe in a not so positive way for the rest of that particular song or that particular section, we'll say, of the performance or speaking or whatever it is that you're doing. It is so challenging, I think, for many of us to really make sure that we start strong, we start the way that we want to start, and really get into the flow of the performance, bam, from the get-go. And that is something that I would say takes practice, just like every other aspect of your performance takes practice. Making sure that you start strong. And what do I mean by start strong? This may not mean, that you're going to start loudly, or that you're going to, sit up there and shout, or that you have to necessarily give a lot of volume in order to start strong. Perhaps you're beginning with something that requires more of a quiet voice in terms of singing, speaking. But starting strong means, of course, starting with the ultimate confidence that you're going to take this, you're going to take control of this performance and you're going to really pull this thing off, and that you're going to connect well with your audience. So, what are some of the things that can hinder a good, strong beginning to your performance? Well, of course, being a psychologist, I believe that we should all do the things that we already are. So I have music flowing through my veins, and that's why I'm a professional musician. I have teaching flowing through my veins, coming from a family of musicians and teachers and writers and authors and public speakers and all that good stuff. So, I am also, by the same token, a psychologist by training, because I love psychology. It's part of who I am. And being a psychologist, of course, I'm going to have to look at the analyze the behaviors and look a little bit deeper under the surface to see what's really going on here. So when it comes to starting a performance as strongly as possible, with as much confidence as possible, right off the bat, it's easier once you're into your performance. You can get comfortable, get into the flow. But right off the get-go, as a psychologist, I would say one hindrance is to begin with the mind, the way that we think. If your thought process going into your performance is, oh no, oh my goodness, I'm going to mess up, oh my gosh, I can't remember the words, oh no, negative self-talk, then guess what? It's going to impact the way you start. Now, I would say that any kind of performance requires some measure of acting, of course, right? So surely we all have nervousness, which is not always a bad thing. We have doubts, those things can be part of any performance. Of course, the key is to not let your audience know that, right? So you're going to make sure that you at least appear confident as you begin your performance, begin your speaking, or whatever the case, so that your audience doesn't know it. That is also a part of starting strong. But psychologically, thoughts that are negative, thoughts in which you are telling yourself exactly how badly you're going to do, those kinds of thoughts definitely can torpedo the way you start your performance. So that's one hindrance, negative thoughts and thinking. Another hindrance is lack of preparation, of course, meaning making sure that you are, I'll put it this way, lack of preparation meaning that you have not practiced every aspect of the performance. Some people think that if they have practiced just the song or the particular speech, that they are fully prepared. I suggest, and I am saying, that you not only need to practice the thing you're going to perform, but also practice how you start. How will you greet your audience? How will you first walk out onto stage? How will you, what kind of face, as they say in the theater, what kind, are you giving them good face? What kind of face are you giving your audience? If you don't practice those key elements, which oftentimes we get a little, we can get a little lazy. We're so focused on the material itself that we're not looking at those parts. If we don't practice those parts, that too can cause us to have a weaker start to our performance. So those are two top key things, I would say. And then the third key hindrance, I think, that can really stop you, or rather keep you from starting as strongly as possible with real confidence and getting just flowing right into it, into the performance, into the speaking, is once again our breathing. So not taking that strong, healthy, deep, full breath before you begin. 20 years ago. You want to start that right on the breath, and etc., and just be really confident with it. So anyway, so yeah, you're thinking, how you practice, and making sure you do practice how you start your song, how you begin, practice those moments before you actually begin, so that you can work out the kinks and have an idea of what that will feel like. And taking that right, good, strong, deep diaphragmatic breath are all ways to help make sure that you start as strongly as possible and with as much confidence as possible, and that you are into the flow of your performance, from the beginning, that you're not having to warm up to your own performance. Because if you have to warm up to your own performance, guess what? The audience does also. So those are three top things I would say to keep in mind. Certainly, I would add to that, visualize. Think about how you would start it, how you'd want to start it, how you would like to interact with your audience from the get-go, before you even open your mouth. Again, that giving a good face. That too is a very important part of practicing, the visualization piece. So I hope those tips today are helpful to you. And if you already do those things, and then also if there may be some other ideas and tips that you have, there are other things that we can do to help make sure that we start strong. But those are the top three. If there are other things that you perhaps have developed in your own career, using your voice publicly and in front of audiences, and you'd like to share them, please do. I invite you to share them. Comment below and like this video, give me a thumbs up, and I invite you to definitely subscribe so that you don't miss a single vocal quick tip or musical happening. I have a studio date coming up in a couple of days, and I've got 2 more for this month, actually, in the month of November, and at least 1, if not 2, in December. So we're really knocking it out. And perhaps I'll take the camera along and post some video footage of us in the studio also. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, in the meantime, God bless. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, welcome to my new subscribers. And follow me on Twitter and Reverb Nation and Facebook. On Facebook, it's Dr. Angela Celeste May. On Twitter, it's Celeste, M-U-S and the number 1. That's CELESTE, M-U-S and the number 1. And on Reverb Nation, it's www.reverbnation.com/Angela Celeste May. Feel free also to post some questions if you have some specific things you'd like for me to cover. I'd be happy to do so. In the meantime, take care, stay well, and do be happy. Bye-bye.